The July Nintendo Direct has leaked again, and this time for the last time. In this video, I'll go over everything regarding the leaks, as well as patterns and information on what might be revealed in this Direct and when it could be revealed. If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I've been doing daily Nintendo content, and if you have a spare $2, be sure to become a member. You get some exclusive perks. In this video, we'll be talking about the Nintendo Direct July leaks and when it will actually be coming out based off of previous patterns. But before we get into that, why are we even talking about this again? I think this is like the 4th time I've talked about this on the channel, and I promise you this is probably the last. Because a pretty credible leaker that goes by the name NateTheHate has stated that we will be getting a Nintendo Direct sometime in July, specifically after Donkey Kong Bonanza's release. This comes from his show, his podcast, where he talks about it. Here is a small clip.
Dozens of times a day. Is it Direct this week? And me saying no. They still continue to ask. So I guess I will put out there, what do I know about the next Nintendo Direct? From what I have been told, there is a Direct this month, for the month of July. But that Direct will not take place until after Donkey Kong Bonanza releases.
He goes into more information on what the Direct might entail, but we will get into that. It is important to note, he says, from what I have been told. So, is his sources credible enough for us to believe him? Honestly, yes. I think when it comes to NateTheHate, everyone, if he says something is true, it most likely will be the case. He actually revealed that the Switch 2 would be revealed in March, which it was. And he says it as informed speculation. So, which leads me to believe he does have a lot of friends in the gaming industry, but he doesn't have exact information on when that might be happening, if that makes sense. His friends tell him stuff, and then he makes informed decisions based off of information that a lot of the public don't have. Based off of some previous predictions of his as well, NateTheHate got 4 video game releases correct, even though they weren't all in the right time frame. He did get 3 things wrong that he confirmed is correct. From what it seems, he uses inside sources to make educated guesses based off of information that the public doesn't have. What does that mean for this Nintendo Direct in July? I am tending to believe him. I mean, we've gotten so many rumors and speculation that a Direct will be this month. One from popular YouTuber, BeatEmUps, on his podcast, where he said this last month.
There's gonna be a Nintendo Direct next month.
And then he goes on to say what kind of games. He specifically says Metaphor Refantasio, GameCube Shadow Drop of Pokémon Colosseum, a Death Stranding Director's Cut S, and that one more thing being Animal Crossing 2026. And it's interesting that he said this because he has apparently an insider information, and then NateTheHate says it. We have Nash Weedle saying it. All of it seems to be kind of correlating to a Direct happening this month. We just really don't know when. And I feel like this whole last week has been a bunch of people saying it's gonna happen today, it's gonna happen today, and this is gonna happen today. They wouldn't technically be wrong one day out of the month, but the main reason why NateTheHate made that whole podcast episode to stop the random rumors. So now that we've talked about NateTheHate's credibility, what might be shown off in this Direct? Going off of BeatEmUps, of course, we have, Metaphor Refantasio and all those games that I've listed before, as well as Animal Crossing 2026. What is interesting is in this podcast, he also shares that a lot of third-party developers don't have access to Switch 2 dev kits, but the ones that do are saving their game for a massive presentation, which makes sense. I feel like we haven't had a lot of Switch 2 exclusive games announced, and most of them are just kind of like ports from other games. So it would make a lot of sense for a Direct to happen this month and them to show it all off in the month. Nash Weedle, who is a semi-credible leaker, has stated as well that a lot of retail outlets like Target, like Walmart, have been told by Nintendo that there are going to be more information coming out after the Switch's launch. And we can assume like a month later makes some sense. It makes sense for it to happen after Donkey Kong Bonanza, but we have a Pokemon Presents next week, and then it's the end of July the week after that. So when can we actually see this direct if it were to happen after Donkey Kong Bonanza? Well, let's first look at previous patterns when it comes to Nintendo and Pokemon Presents in the same month. These are 3 occurrences that I have found where there was both a Pokemon Presents and a Nintendo Direct. And it's interesting that all of these presentations, not all of them are general directs. And this is something NateTheHate also said in his podcast, where he doesn't know what kind of direct this is, and that it could be a partner showcase or a mini direct. Because again, guys, apparently we're also getting a direct in September because Nintendo hasn't missed a direct in September for a while. So it would honestly make sense for this to be a mini direct that announces a bunch of release dates for games and not reveal too many games until the September direct. Getting a little off topic, let's get onto these dates. So in June 2017, we had an E3 Direct on Tuesday and then a Pokemon Presents on the Thursday, and that was in the middle of June. Then on February 2019, we had a General Direct the 13th and a Pokemon Presents the 26th. Basically a straight week right after each other. And interestingly enough, June 2020, the same thing happened. A General Direct on June 6th, and then a straight week right after a Pokemon Presents on the 17th. On June 2020, that was a partner showcase though. We have a Pokemon Presents on the 22nd. That is a Tuesday. If we were to assume that they're following a similar pattern to what they have been doing, the next Direct should be on the 29th, exactly a week after the Pokemon Presents, which means we should get an announcement Sunday or Monday, the 27th or the 28th, saying that there's going to be a Direct on the 29th. The Nintendo Direct announcements normally happen 1 to 2 days before the actual Direct, with some occasions of them happening multiple weeks ahead of time. There is a possibility of, on the 22nd, that they say at the end of it that there will be more information shown off in a Nintendo Direct on the 29th. They normally like revealing Direct announcements in Directs as well. And I have shown this off before, but this is basically a heat map on when Directs normally do happen. Majority of them happening on Wednesday from 27 to 2025, but occasional Directs happening on Tuesday. And, you know, looking at this heat map and looking at the calendar, there could be a possibility it could be a Wednesday as well. But going off of, you know, previous patterns of presents and directs on the same month, it most likely could be the 29th. So that kind of lends the question what kind of direct this could be. There is a lot of information that we don't know. There's a lot of information that we don't know when it comes to the rest of the year after August. But we are apparently getting a direct sometime in September. So when it comes to, you know, direct now, I could see it as like a mini direct that announces some release dates but doesn't show off any games, except the teaser for Animal Crossing, which was, you know, teased by BeatEmUps. That is honestly my prediction, that it would actually be like a Nintendo Direct Mini or a General Direct that is kind of disguised as a mini. There isn't going to be too many crazy announcements, maybe a few Switch 2 edition games to fill out all the way up until September. And then September will go more into the holiday year. But then again, they could honestly flip the script and we couldn't get a Direct in September. That'll probably be a video for another time though. That is about everything when it comes to the July Direct. Do you think we're actually gonna get it sometime this month? Is it gonna be the last week of July? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to like the video. I'm Crafty1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.